So how about killing two birds with one stone and having your hairline fixed together with your patchy beard at the same time? In today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you a great example of somebody who has done it at the same time and the results turned out just excellent. Now I'm seeing many results from Turkey of hairline and beard transplants, and it looks like the hair has been relocated from the donor to the beard or to the hairline, but it just doesn't have that naturalness, that undetectability factor, which is something I would like to bring to your attention in today's video. A little disclaimer, everybody. I'm not gonna recommend it to everybody. In fact, only a few people could probably pull this off. Ideally, your hair loss is under control. That means your hair loss better did not get worse in the last 1 or 2 years. That means you are on meds. Number 2, your donor zone is looking excellent. That means you have a great amount of follicles available in your donor. Number 3, you are the type of guy whose beard doesn't need a lot of fixing to begin with, so the graft usage will be minimal in the first place. So let's start first with the hairline and then move on to the beard line. So this gentleman is in his mid to late 20s. I would consider him like a Norwood 2.5 to Norwood 3 transition. As you can see, the hair is rather fine, something like mine. Fine to medium hair caliber, but as we can see, the donor is looking very, very strong. Not as good and dense on the, lower portion of the occipital, but in the center and in the upper region, it's very good. What they decided to do, of course, is to do the beard. You see it's patchy on the cheeks, left and right, and he wanted to fix the hairline primarily. So this is the design they went with. As you can see, they put 2,400 grafts on this area, which I consider to be very accurate. They put a little bit more into that first section that it's outlined, that made it denser there with 50 follicles per square centimeter, and then in the second section, when there is more existing hair already there present, they did less. So in total, we are looking at 2,400 grafts. This is way more accurate and appropriate for somebody who is in his 20s still and probably is going to lose more hairs in the future than other results I'm seeing from clinics all over the globe, but plenty of them from Turkey. Like, for example, the ones from Teaching Man's Fashion, like his latest video where his brother got like 4,000 grafts transplanted on a, similar area compared to our case today. This guy is no worse than Norwood 2.5, Norwood 3, really, like if I'm overdoing it. And they transplanted a whopping 4,000 grafts here. Things like these are happening today, unfortunately, and people get overquoted left and right. So make sure you discuss your quotes from the clinic, from somebody who's an expert in this field, from another doctor, or get many opinions before you kind of decide to go there. Because really it can cost you a lot of your donor follicles, and you will run out sooner than you thought, and then you will not have enough in the future. One cool thing that I would like to bring to your attention is that when they were designing the hairline, you see this existing hair right here that is kind of quite low positioned. So what they did very well was they didn't design the hairline kind of below this hair, but actually above. And that's very smart, because that way your hairline will look that more natural and that more undetectable. Let me explain you why. So what you can see here is like ultimate natural from the left side. And one thing, of course, the transplant has been done very well. The density is great. It's 50 grafts per square centimeters. The hairline looks incredibly natural also because they took some single grafts from behind the ear, and these tend to be especially fine. They are less pigmented, and they are even finer than your normal single grafts that can be found in the center of the occipital region or on the sides. But the biggest thing for me that really stands out and makes this hairline look really even one level above the very natural hairlines that you can see in the industry is the existence of those single follicles that are naturally growing there. These are existing hairs that were there even before the transplant. These are not transplanted. We can also see it on this side. It just looks incredibly natural, and as a whole, it really makes it even blend more seamlessly with the hair that is on the sides, and it just doesn't look that detectable. The regrowth is amazing for 2,400 grafts. Everything grew in well, and it just an amazing transformation. Now, as far as the hairline, my opinion, the graft usage is 10 out of 10. You know, for 2,400 grafts, it's a really good fullness and an improvement in the way it frames patient's face. The density, the see-through effect is really low considering these were just 2,400 grafts, and they really transplanted quite a bit of surface on the frontal third. The density, 10 out of 10 for me, considering patient's finer hair caliber. Now, everybody who's interested in filling out his patchy beard or improve, enhance the beard look, maybe you don't have the best shape of your jawline, whatever, so you want to mask it with some nice looking beard and fuller looking beard, here's what happened with this case. The breakdown of the beard transplant, 2,500 grafts. Out of those 2,500, they took about 800 from underneath the chin area, because with HLC they always like to take the beard hair first if it's available, since this is more similar to the beard hair here, so they want to use more of that. And they used those 800 ones because these are mainly singles, so they use them for the outline of the beard line, and then also for some of those areas there, and also for the sideburns, and for the center in this region, and for the thicker parts near the bottom, they use also some double grafts from the donor, and also some more singles from the donor, because of course you need just singles in this area. It should look very soft, because that's what's gonna make that border between your bare skin on your cheeks and the beard. So it needs to be very soft, and the line should consist only out of singles. And here we can nicely see it on how the result actually turned out. You can see that the beard line is just looking incredibly soft. You don't even notice that this has been a transplanted beard line. And it's really hard to find these results nowadays, when 99% of clinics, they just bet on thickness and fullness and the bushy look that may look full once you grow it out. But when you trim the beard a little bit shorter, it will not have the most natural shape to it, because the beard line will be just super obvious, as you can see on some of those images. But this one, you can shave it and it will look incredibly natural, because you can see how it's like looking the softest up here. The beard line is very soft, and the more we progress down there, you can see how it just naturally gets more thickness and also pigment, and it just looks more darker and fuller as well. Cobblestoning with beard transplantation is happening more often than you would think. It just, people never show it for real, because on the before and after results, when you're looking for beard transplants, usually the ones in Turkey, they do a lot of them, and they, you know, always keep the beard fairly long, like mine, and longer on their after photos, so you never get to see this. But I have seen many of these like this, when guys try to shave the beard or trim it very, very short, like 1 millimeter, and you will be able to see those elevated bumps. And this is a result of using incorrect technique, implanting the grafts too shallow because the incisions were created too shallow, or just taking grafts with a lot of surrounding tissue and not trimming them properly, and when they try to kind of heal, it heals incorrectly and creates that bump, and this is pretty much how the cobblestoning occurs. That's why you should really do your due diligence and research a lot, because if you're not looking at that smooth skin after results, you are just interested in like, okay, can these guys like relocate the grafts from here to there and make it like it's growing? Like, yeah, like any clinic can do it, but to make the skin look like a baby skin after that, like without any, you know, scarring, that's what only a few clinics can do it. From the donor overall, they used 4,100 grafts, so 1,700 for the beard, another 800 from underneath the chin, and 2,400 for the hairline, so 4,100. And you can see how amazingly the donor looks. You can not even see the scars after the punches, despite quite a short haircut that the patient has here. And I think he can still get plenty of hairs for his second or third hair transplant, if he needs one, from the second half of his occipital region and also from the parietal zones. I think they let more hair there on purpose so it can be used next time. Punches that they used were very decent. They're not too big. Unfortunately, some really even better doctors nowadays, I see them using bigger punches on guys with fine hair. I think the industry should progress this way, where doctors should start learning to utilize smaller diameter punches for patients, so the scarring will be minimized. They can extract more hair from the donor, and I think they should just push themselves more in this aspect of the hair transplantation, especially with the FUE. And yeah, here is another video where we can see how the donor healed after 4,100 grafts extracted from it. It's looking incredibly healthy. It still preserves its aesthetics and it just looks still very elegant. The bottom may look a bit lighter here, but I think that's due to the fact that the patient really, had that, very short cut on the bottom, and then the hair gradually goes longer on the second half of the donor. And also he has some grayish hair, which I'm noticing on those parts here, which make it look like it's looking a little bit, lighter. But this is just the kind of the optical illusion or the optical characteristic of it. But if we look at the spacing between the follicles, it's equal, it's homogeneous, it's no patchy, there's no over harvesting, as we have seen by some cases, as you can see on some of these images right here, where we can obviously see that this is over harvesting because there are gaps between the hairs even after 12 months after the surgery. So this is no shock loss, this is nothing temporary, it's a permanent condition, unfortunately, that happens as a result of punching too many follicles next to one another, maybe using bigger punches or just working too fast, too quickly. They're not really tracking the proper distances of the extraction points, and that's happening with many clinics still, unfortunately. And at the end, I would like to just mention a few limitations of doing beard and hair transplant at the same time, no matter which clinic you go to. And even if you go to the best places and end up looking like this result, it's great, but be aware that you will run out of your donor zone quicker, okay? So your capacity will decrease faster because you're using the grafts for the beard as well. And if you are gonna lose more hair in the future, you will have less possible follicles to end up on top. And then your hair may not turn out its best looking in the future because you will just maybe end up with half bald crown because you have no more reserves. So that's why with HLC, they like to take as much as is possible here from underneath the chin area and then tap into the donor reserve on the back. Unlike some other clinics where you see they take everything from the donor and they put it on the beard, on the scalp, and it's just not very economic approach if you want to have some nice reserves for the future. Because also for the beard, you just need 80% of single follicles, and you will find them here, not here. Here you find like doubles, triples more often than singles. And that's why if they take a lot of doubles and triples and they don't even split them before putting them on the beard, like 90% of clinics don't do, then you end up with very thick looking beard that it's more likely going to suffer from things like cobblestoning because it's just too much robust looking doubles, triples transplanted there. There is a lot of surrounding tissue around those doubles and triples, and that creates the cobblestoning. So the beard transplant can be really risky if you don't know what you're doing, okay? And yeah, it's true that 99% of the clinics promoting this option, like let's do the beard and hair at the same time, they don't know how to do it properly. They give you the hair, okay, it's gonna look full, but the skin, guys, you have to be looking underneath and look how the skin will heal afterwards as well, okay? And with that being said, thank you so much for watching. Make sure you smash that like button so the algorithm will promote this video more to the people like you who are interested in beard, hair, or both transplants, and they want to make the best possible decision. So make sure that these people will get to see this video, and you help them by liking this video right now. For all of you guys who are interested in my one-on-one consulting services, check out the link in the video description below where you can learn more about how I can help you one-on-one with finding the right hair or beard transplant clinic for your case, expectations, budget, hair type, and so on, as I have already done with more than 2,000 of my personal clients. And I would be happy to help you out as well. avoid all of the possible pitfalls, and make sure you do this safely and end up with a natural thing on your head or on your face. Thank you a lot for supporting this channel, and I'm going to be seeing you soon in another video. Take care.